Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Duncan White. I'm here at Intersect 2023 in Dubai, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ian Moore. Good afternoon, Ian.
Good afternoon.
Ian holds the enviable position of Chief Executive Officer of the Fire Industry Association, which is Europe's largest fire industry association. Ian, please tell us a little bit more about the FIA.
Yeah, absolutely. My favourite subject. We have over 1,000 members and member companies. We don't do individuals at the moment, but they're all professional companies. Our biggest stance and our ethos is about competency, and we insist every company has third-party certification, which is a way of defining professionalism. And that's what we start with. And those that don't have it, we actually have a route to certification process that we work with them to bring them up to that level. So it's all about raising the bar of professionalism. We train about 6,000 to 7,000 people a year to professional levels. They are qualifications level, which we designed originally, and then we transferred across to FireQual to keep the independence. And that's a way of defining competency with individuals. So you can sort of see the trends of what we're doing there.
Very much so, and I think that we talk about the industry and maintaining competence and also maintaining confidence. I think that we hear so many horror stories of individuals and companies that have brought in so-called professionals to undertake life safety work within their premises, only to find that they've got no quality controls, no confidence, and no competence. So tell me how the system with FireQual differs from the registers like the Institution of Fire Engineers are trying to put together.
Giving it a degree of attestation, whereas some other ones you just fill in a form and away you go. And it's really about trying to find a way of defining competencies that are quite strict and narrow in different directions. And the areas we're kind of looking at the moment is to make sure it stays within certain types of environments. As an example, if you're doing a risk assessment of an oil rig, but the curriculum is based on an exam at the end of it. So we originally set up the first awarding organisation because there was none, incredibly, for fire safety, no qualifications whatsoever. So we started that up, we wrote them, got it all approved by UCAS, and we started to do them. And then you have to be a little bit careful of poacher gamekeeper when you're training and decision to pass to BAFE them.
Ensures that the credibility is there in terms of a standard that is maintained to a set level that can be audited and stand up to scrutiny. And I suppose that is of huge importance in the event of one of your member organisations or an individual being held potentially liable for something. They can then provide evidence that yes, they are competent. But I think that leads me on to where does experiential learning come into competence? How do you think that, should we be measuring everything on the ability to pass an exam, or should we have a time-served apprenticeship within the industry?
Okay, yeah, so I mentioned you before about statutory defence, and so if you're a building owner, you're not a fire expert, so how do you know what to ask for? You know, there isn't a list of criteria, and this is what we're trying to do, is to try and define what looks good. So when you look at companies, when you look at individuals, and all these different registers and stuff for everything else, once you define all those and you understand what the level is, you can really make a statutory defence if something goes wrong with a building, and there's a fire and somebody gets hurt or the property's damaged. You look immediately at the owner of the building saying, you're the responsible person. I said, so what have you done about making this? He said, right, every contractor was third-party certified, every individual was qualified to level 3 or above, and they've all done the training required for the specific things. I've checked all those things. What else could I have done? And that's kind of what we're trying to do there.
Should we be looking to take this one step further and bringing insurance companies in? We've got the situation where I have professional indemnity insurance, I have public liability insurance. Should an insurance company be looking to evidence the qualifications and competence before they sell these individuals the insurance?
That's a fantastic point. We do work really deeply with insurance companies. We have I know my guys are meeting on Friday with a whole bunch of insurance people. we bring them into the conversation. It really started, first of all, as almost like a complaint about professional indemnity, because the risk assessment companies, post-Grenfell, their premiums went through the roof, 10 times, 20 times.
And that was if they would actually cover you in the first place. There was so few. I know that there was only 2 that were potentially quoting some risk assessors who were exactly that competent, but they still couldn't get it.
Yeah, and what's happening, unfortunately, you're losing the talent in this area. I know a couple of very big practices, I won't mention the name, but you probably can guess who they are, that do no longer do buildings above 18 metres. So their insurance covers them up to 18 metres, but it's about tenfold to go above based on the risk that they deem without knowing what tall buildings do. I mean, there's no more risk than anything else, any other building. It's just they have the news because of Grenfell. But the premiums are there, and it's driving people out of the industry, and the competence is going.
And to be honest with you, from an individual's point of view looking to get insurance companies are well known for not wanting to pay out in the event of a claim. And I'm frightened that we're going to see a competent fire engineer or a fire risk assessor who has undertaken due diligence, applied for insurance and been covered. But for whatever reason, when it comes to payout, the insurance company are going to say, we don't recognise what you're telling us. So should the insurance company undertake have a system?
The individual or the company, absolutely.
And I think this is where, as a member of a number of professional bodies, I would expect my trade association to be saying, right, you work with us because we're working with insurers who, given the qualifications you've attained through an FIA accredited course, will ensure that if you've not deliberately or willfully shown neglect, if you like, in your duties, then you know that you're going to be covered.
As best you can be.
Yes.
There's always little loopholes, as you can probably imagine.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely. It's the sort of thing we do work with them. We give credibility. We like to think that people, when they see what this is, because we've done the due diligence through the company by looking at the credentials of where they stand as a company, then you add up to the individuals that work within that. So we look at fire engineers, for instance, on the Fire and Engineering Council, and we must have somebody work on every project of a chartered engineer status, so which is professionally checked. So we're always looking for routes to find ways of companies and people being proven to be competent. We all like to think we're competent. It's about defining it, though.
Ian, I think we could sit here for another couple of hours and still not have exhausted this conversation. And I think it may well be a conversation for the future that we'll move on and look at on another forum. But Ian, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for your time. Where can the viewers find more information about the FIA?
Website, the old classical www.fia.uk.com. But if you look up FIA, Fire Industry Association, it will come up on the top anyway.
Lovely. Thank you, my friend. I'll catch up with you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.